Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Now at 6:30 on WKYT News, a man jumps out of a window after being shot at during an overnight home invasion. We're tracking the crime alert live in Lexington.
And hear what a community thinks happened to a snake handling pastor who died while preaching.
And an update on a sinkhole repair going on at the National Corvette Museum. Those stories and more also breaking news this morning here on WKYT. Good morning to you as we hit the air at 6:30. This just in, an injury collision at Main and Broadway this morning. Traffic is being rerouted around Triangle Park. I think we have a live picture we want to establish for you just for a second here. We do not have that at this point. Yes, we do. Now we'll take that and show you the situation downtown right now. Again, traffic is being rerouted right now at Broadway due to an injury collision there at Main Street. We'll keep you updated as we get additional details this morning.
Ironic, because later this evening, traffic's going to be congested down in that area because, of course, the Christmas parade tonight.
Yeah, so hopefully things will be a lot better by then. Certainly the accident's clear and all of that, and weather good as well, hopefully. Let's check in with Micah right now, see what's going on in our First Alert Weather Center.
Yeah, it does look pretty good as of right now. Only a shower or two over toward the eastern zones. One trying to creep in the southern zones, but all in all, we're pretty dry this morning. And the wintry mix isn't really a wintry mix at all. And the reason being, we just don't have a lot of moisture up toward the far northern zones. So I don't see major impacts there on the roadways. Take off and enjoy. Just take it easy if you're Covington or off into heading off into Ohio. That's where the main impact is. Over toward the east, we have a couple of showers here. Temperatures are well above freezing. So that's always good news looking at that early in the morning. By the afternoon, we don't rise that much. Low 40s expected. And check this out. It really doesn't budge that much going throughout the night and into tomorrow morning. Then into tomorrow afternoon, hey, we're actually around average. And I'll show you that forecast coming up in a few minutes.
We'll see you then. Thank you.
New this morning, police are searching for two people after an overnight home invasion. It happened overnight on Hedgewood Court off Woodhill Drive.
Police say one of the victims jumped out of a window to call the police for help. WKYT Sean Moody is live in Lexington now with more about this crime alert. He's joining us. Sean, good morning.
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. Police are still searching for the man who they say forced his way into a home here at Hedgewood Court. They say he fired 3 shots at one of the people inside. Around 1:30 this morning, police say 4 people inside the home heard a knock at the door. When they answered, they say a man with a gun forced his way inside. They say he pointed a gun at one of the people, then another person tried to get away. Police say he fired 3 shots in that person's direction but didn't hit him. They say the man actually had to jump from a second-floor window to get away and call for police. Now, police say there was a woman along with that man who had the gun. They don't have a detailed description on either of those 2 people. Live in Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Sean, thank you very much. Community members say an eastern Kentucky preacher died after he was bitten by a snake. 52-year-old Woodrow Fields was the pastor of the Everett's Free Pentecostal Holiness Church in Harlan County. He died during Friday night service. People who know Fields say that snake handling is common at that church.
I think that he done what he wanted to do, and I think he died the way he wanted to die because he stayed there, I think, in the church.
Investigators have not confirmed exactly how Fields died. The coroner is waiting for an autopsy report.
A man faces charges after a bizarre burglary at a Nelson County bank. Bardstown police say Ronald Newberry went to Lincoln National Bank at 5 in the morning. He waited for a teller, but the bank was closed. So police say Newberry pulled out a gun and shot his way into the bank. Police found him hiding behind a Christmas tree. He told police he was not there to steal anything, but had to trade in some coins for cash. Newberry is charged with burglary. A man who led police on a chase through a central Kentucky neighborhood will go before a judge today. The high-speed chase was caught on camera. WKYT's Victor Puente is at the live desk this morning with the exclusive video and reaction from the suspect. Good morning.
Good morning. Police tell us this chase only came to an end when a Stanton police officer tased 37-year-old Joseph Watkins. The chase started Friday night in Stanton when the Clay City Police Chief tried to serve a burglary warrant on him. Police say he took off, driving to Clay City at more than 100 miles an hour. A roadblock by the sheriff's office caused the chase to turn around. Police say that's just one of the times when Watkins rammed their cruisers. Police say the chase stopped when Watkins braked, causing an officer to rear-end him. During an interview in jail, he said he was innocent of the burglary, but wished he hadn't ran.
My fiance told me I shouldn't have done it. I wish it never happened.
Watkins is scheduled to be arraigned at 9 a.m. He's charged with reckless driving, fleeing or evading, criminal mischief, and multiple counts of wanton endangerment. At the live desk, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Victor, thank you. New on WKYT this morning, an eastern Kentucky woman is dead after a crash in Harlan County. State police say 85-year-old Evelyn Philpott lost control of her car on Highway 38 and crashed into a pickup, and she died at the scene. The other driver was not hurt. In a WKYT investigation, we told you how Kentucky has hundreds of these guardrails that a lawsuit claims are dangerous to drivers. And now a Clay County man who lost his leg in a crash wants to know if the guardrail he was hit with is involved in that suit. Chris Kavanaugh says he was on his way to pick up his daughter when he hit a patch of mud and slammed into a guardrail. It impaled his car instead of crumpling. Kavanaugh says he can no longer work because of his injuries.
Went through the firewall, went on into where he was at. He seen it coming.
I knew it was going to, if I didn't move, it was going to kill me. I knew it was going to come through here.
The Kavanaughs tell us that they are taking legal action in hopes of recovering some of their losses.
We are tracking the investigation into a violent case of shoplifting. Richmond police say 2 women stole more than $900 in merchandise from Kohl's. When a store employee tried to stop them, police say one of the women hit the employee several times. They say the suspects left in a white Ford Mustang with blue racing stripes. 4 people accused of shooting and seriously injuring a Domino's employee are set to be arraigned today in a Boyle County courtroom. Nathaniel Davis, Robin Adams, Patrick Brand, and Rico Penix are all charged with robbery and assault. Zoe Reed was shot during a holdup back in September. Reed's father says his daughter is recovering, but her progress has been difficult.
In the wake of recent events out in Ferguson, Missouri, President Obama is proposing a $263 million package to assist in community policing. It would include the purchase of 50,000 body cameras for officers nationwide. The announcement comes amid ongoing demonstrations over a grand jury's decision not to indict former Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson in the shooting death of Michael Brown. Attorney General Eric Holder says the Justice Department will announce plans in the coming days aimed at ending racial profiling. A suspect wanted for killing 4 people in West Virginia has been found dead. State police had been searching for 39-year-old Jody Lee Hunt yesterday. His body was found in his truck in the woods. Police think Hunt died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Court records say that one of the victims had filed a domestic violence suit against him last month.
Temple University student body president says he's glad Bill Cosby has resigned amid a string of sexual assault allegations. He stepped down after more than a dozen women accused him of drugging and sexually assaulting them over the years. The 77-year-old Cosby says he doesn't want it to be a distraction to his beloved alma mater. Cosby is scheduled to perform in Lexington in March.
The Kentucky Department of Agriculture is accepting applications for next year's hemp pilot projects. Agriculture Commissioner James Comer says the first round of pilot projects was a huge success. He says it provided a lot of data about production methods, seed varieties, and uses for harvested hemp. Now he wants a wide scope of pilot projects to help prepare for eventual commercial hemp production. The application deadline is January 1st. Construction is continuing today out at the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green. Crews spent much of yesterday moving boulders from loose parts of that sinkhole that swallowed up 8 classic cars back in February. The museum is installing a manhole that will go into the cave below that sinkhole. It will give people access to the cave even after the sinkhole is filled. The museum said things are on schedule, and at this rate, the Sky Dome should be reopened this coming July. Well, speaking of sinkholes, 2 people managed to escape after their car was swallowed up.
Surveillance video shows a white sedan stopped in the middle of the road, and then it drives right into that sinkhole. The passenger and a driver got out immediately. The road continued to collapse around them. Minutes later, it swallowed up the car entirely.
Wow.
Very amazing video there.
Look at that, just down in there. All right.
Well, we do want to thank everyone who helped pack our lobby with donations for Mission of Hope.
It really was touching. We held a collection drive yesterday at WKYT to help less fortunate children in eastern Kentucky. And many of you stopped by our studio with toys and food, clothing, and other supplies. And those donations will be given to children for Christmas. And it's not too late to help. You can make donations to Mission of Hope's Christmas drive through next Monday. Look for the blue barrels at locations including Chick-fil-A, Valvoline, Curves, and Pearson and Justice Dental. And you can also check out WKYT.com for more about Mission of Hope, which is now nearing its 20th year in operation.
Great cause. And we have been tracking a traffic situation downtown for you this morning. And let's check live drive traffic with Don.
I want to update you on that. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Well, a few minutes ago, we had a collision at Main and Broadway. Now, it looks like they pretty much cleared the scene now, which means all lanes will be back open if you are headed downtown. So that's good news to pass on this morning. Let's get a look outside, and we'll show you there at Main and Broadway where things are now clear. All lanes are moving all directions through there as traffic picks up downtown. Now, on our Waze map, since that's out of the way now, we're just seeing normal rush hour traffic beginning to develop around town. Tate's Creek in the Circle, inbound Nicholasville at Man o' War, one of our slower spots, and on Clays Mill between Jesse Clark and Lexington Catholic. A couple of live drivers also reporting stalled cars and slowdowns on exit ramps this morning, but things are developing, looks like, as they should for rush hour. We'll keep you up to date. Now back to you in the studio.
All right, a quick cleanup of that accident, and hopefully not very serious injuries in that. And a reminder that we'll have the Christmas parade, Lexington's Christmas parade tonight at 7 downtown. That'll go from Midland up to Mill Street.
Look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, our time this morning is 6:41.
Some post offices will handle a lot more mail, and it has nothing to do with shipping gifts. Why some Kentucky cities get extra attention this time of year.
No real rain threat outside this morning. I'm not seeing many issues whatsoever. When does that stuff pick on up? Because it does. I'll show you that forecast and the latest details on that parade coming up next.